I sent the link to him. He said he was going to try to tune in. I'm going to send it to him again.
All right. What's going on, folks? It is Sunday Fun Day here on eRock7420 on Twitch and asgardradio.com. And tonight we are hanging out with the folks from Shop Talk, Troy and Peter. And of course, we've got Chronic Chris from asgardradio.com. And our special
Whoa.
guest tonight is Steve Unger from the band Metal Church. So, you metalheads out there better know what I'm talking about. If not, just don't even stay around. Just leave. Just go away. So,
No, they don't need to go away. They need to like just tune in and figure it all out, man. Then they'll know. Then they'll be in the know.
there you go. Hell yeah. Thanks again for coming on to the show. I truly appreciate it. It's cool to see you're kicking back and enjoying the sun out on the boat.
Yeah, man.
Shit, I wish I was there right now.
It's what I do when I can, man.
Hell yeah. Now, where are you located right now then?
We are out in where the hell is it? Out in Tacoma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can see the well, yeah, it's Tacoma Dome's right back there.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
that's Tacoma over there.
Damn. See, now this is an interview, kicking back and chilling on a boat on
Right?
the
Yeah,
weekend.
except for we all should be on that boat.
Yeah,
now,
so I got my crab pot soaking, and probably by the time we get done with this thing, I'm gonna go pull them up, and hopefully I got some Dungeness crab in there.
oh hell yeah! See, okay, we're gonna have to move this interview, folks.
Right? Now I'm getting a little hungry.
Now I got to say right off the bat, I am a huge fan. Have been for a while, of course, because I remember the first time I heard Metal Church. You know, it was back in the '80s, hanging out with my buddies with the long hair, wearing our metal shirts and getting into it. My buddy come up to me and said, "Hey, you got to check this band out," and I did, and I was like, "This, this is just too badass, man." Now, you you guys have stayed the same for a year, for years and years. I mean, like your sound has not changed any, like a lot of other bands have done. You guys are still, how can I, Metal Church. I mean, it's like very distinctive. Any song that we hear, um, I know it's Metal Church. How do you guys
Yeah.
do that after for so long and all these other bands changing all that?
Well, I think a lot of other bands try to keep up with the fads, and they try to keep up with what's happening right now, what's hot, or what they think is going to be the next hot thing. So, I mean, my favorite band is Kiss, and even they did it. In the disco era, they were like, put out "I Was Made for Loving You," and everybody was like, "What the hell is this? That's a Kiss? That's Kiss?"
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. It's Kiss. It's still a kick-ass song, and I've loved them in every era they've been through, but yeah, I think a lot of bands try to keep up with what is happening in the times, and other bands like us, we just really don't give a fuck, and we just kind of like do what we do. And Kurt Vandroff is pretty much the primary writer of the band, so he brings the ideas to us, and he's kind of got that a little bit. I mean, he's got the metal background, but he's also got the prog background. So there's kind of a mix between metal and prog is the way we put the songs together, and we all add our own little flavor. Kurt brings the idea to the band, and everybody chews on it for a bit and says, "Well, this is what I think we should do here," and we all throw in some ideas, and it just seems to work.
Hell yeah. And I love it. I think it's amazing. You guys have not, the style has not changed a bit. Like, I'm a Megadeth fan too, and I think Megadeth has changed a little bit, but they kind of stayed on that same ride, the same sound since they came out. You guys just straight out, and I love it. So,
Yeah.
as a fan,
Right on, man.
I'm going to
Thank you.
say I appreciate it because there's a lot of bands from the past that I've enjoyed a lot, and they changed. I'm like, man, son of a bitch. Metal Church. I'm like, okay, I'm good. This is good. I can stay with this.
Now
Right
you
on.
Yeah,
know the band.
exactly. And I can relate to what Steve is saying, and you, Eric. So when you have a roots, when you start somewhere, 20, 30, 40 years ago, doing the maths, as far as we grow and as a musicians, if you stay within the same thing that you started with, and you really truly love, and you compose that way, and you are happy with that, that's very, very true of you. That's just you. You don't adapt to, what's what people want to hear nowadays, just because you want to make money. If you're a true artist, I mean, this is at least what I believe. You stick with whatever you believe in, whatever you like, wherever you started, and that's very valuable. So, and nowadays, unfortunately, Steve, as both of us, we know people look at the numbers. How many albums do you sell? Concerts you sold out, whatever. So, but you know what? What you're saying, Steve, I really admire and appreciate. Because you stick with where you started, and in whatever age, it doesn't matter if you're 30 years old or 80 years old. You stick with that. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's what people, they love you for that, and if you go and you change it, the people, look at Metallica's fans. A lot of them are like, oh my God, they sold out. They went, it's like, I don't know if they sold out. They went huge and they became mega stars, and I mean, I don't consider that selling out. I think they just kind of grew up a little bit. And I mean, it happens. I mean, it's even happened a little bit with the Metal Church stuff. I mean, we don't it's not like we write the same exact song over and over again. Every song is different, but it still has that same basis, that we are who we are. So it's going to sound like something that we do.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. It's got the signature of Metal Church that was established in whenever you guys started. It's got the signature.
Exactly. Because I'm listening. Actually, listening to the new album from the Vault back in 2020, and as soon as I started playing the song, the first song, "Dead on the Vine," I even told Chris, I'm like, dude, have you checked it out yet? He's like, wait, what? I was like, dude, this is Metal Church. This is awesome. It's not changed. This is really amazing. We're loving it.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of good material on that album from the Vault. Is stuff that we have written and recorded over the years. Because when we record an album, we usually record 16 to 20 songs, and only 10 or 12 will make it onto the album. And so we've got, man, I mean, I've been on now, Jesus, I don't even know how many albums I've been on, but enough that we've got quite a compilation of stuff that didn't make the album, not because it wasn't a good song, but just because maybe it didn't fit right with the other 10 or 12 that we picked. It just wasn't a perfect match for that line of songs. And so what we did is we had all these things just, stored away, and then that's why it's called From the Vault. So what we did is we just picked, a couple of the tunes that we recorded for Weight of the World, a couple of the songs that came off of, that were recorded for, man, I can't remember all the names of our albums right now, but yeah. So I mean, we always got 5 or 6 songs that are, leftover songs, and we actually wrote a couple of new ones for from the Vault, and then we also did the thing with, we recorded some cover stuff, which the band has never done before. So From the Vault was just this kind of cool thing that we put together, and unfortunately we didn't even get to go out and tour it, not even one show, because of the the COVID thing, and kind of fucked everybody for the last couple of years. But looking forward to getting out and doing it. But I don't know if we're going to go out and tour that album, or if we're going to go back in the studio and record another one to go out and tour something fresh. To me, it's kind of a bummer, because it's like we put this album out, it's a lot of good material on it, and we didn't have any chance to go out and promote it or push it or tour it or anything. So it was quite a disappointment for us.
Oh yeah, that's a big disappointment. But you know what, Steve? I believe, like, if you put out a kick-ass album in 2020 or in COVID-19, you can still stick with that, and that as a professional musician, So record label, whoever, a production company, you can still go with that. And at the meantime, you go ahead and make some kick-ass new album.
Oh, we will. I mean, Kurt is amazing, because the guy's always writing. And every time I talk to him, he's like, dude, I got a couple of new riffs. I'm going to send you some ideas. And, it's just what he does. He sits in the studio and he just writes and writes and writes. And he writes for, not just Metal Church, he writes for several different bands. But he's always got, cool little riffs that he sends them over. And he's like, what do you think of this? Do what you do to it. And it just kind of, next thing we know, we got an album.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, I got to ask this. I mean, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times. But for my personal curiosity, to be honest, is how did Metal Church form? How did that happen?
Well, formed back in 1984, and I wasn't in the band when it formed. It was Kirk Vanderhoof and Kirk Arrington. They were the original. I mean, they were the founders of Metal Church, and it was based out of Aberdeen, Washington. I used to play in another band that we used to play down in Aberdeen, and we would go to like after hours parties and such, and it would be at like the Metal Church where they practice and rehearse and everything. So I've known the guys forever, you know, even before they made it big, and they took off and they, you know, went out with Metallica for the first 4 years of the band, and they were the support band for Metallica, and that's really what put them on the map, you know, exposed Metal Church to, you know, the huge fan base of Metallica.
Huh? I didn't know that. That part I didn't know. Like I said, a buddy of mine introduced me. He's like, "Dude, check this out, man!" And that was the rest of its history.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just answered a bunch of my questions because I know you joined the band in 2003, and I was just wondering, you know, how you met up with them and what you were doing before Metal Church.
Well, I've been in several bands, you know, but actually when Metal Church found, they decided they wanted to put the band and kind of resurrect it again. It was on a hiatus since about the mid 90s, and they decided that they wanted to resurrect this thing, and so somebody told them about Ronnie Monroe, that he would be a great fit for a vocalist for the band, and so they sent out some people to go find where the hell this Ronnie Monroe guy is at. And Ronnie and I actually played in a band together before we played in Metal Church together, and it was this it's kind of a 80s rock thing called Glam Slam, basically like Steel Panther 10 years before Steel Panther did it, but it just wasn't quite cool to do it quite yet. We were a little bit ahead of our time, or, you know, not enough time had passed since the real 80s thing happened, and so people couldn't figure out if we were like, you know, leftover rejects from the 80s that just didn't want to grow up, or, you know, they didn't quite know what it was. But anyway, Ronnie and I played together in that, and I actually left that band to join a country band, if you can believe that. And Ronnie one day calls me up and he's like, "Hey, dude, can you fill in? Our bass player, he can't make the show tonight." I was like, "Yeah, I could do this." So I showed up, and it happened to be the night that Metal Church guys came out looking for Ronnie Monroe to see if he'd be a good fit, and I happened to be playing bass that night, and so they contacted us the next day and brought Ronnie into the studio, and Ronnie called me from the studio and he's like, "Hey man, they need a bass player, and they saw you last night and they're interested in you as well as they are me." And so I was like, at that time I was sitting in the studio with my country band and we were recording, and I'm like, "Hang on a second, guys," and I'm getting this phone call that, "Hey, you want to come audition for Metal Church?" And I was like, "Shit, yeah." So anyway, like 2-3 days later, we went and we did a audition. They sent me like 3 songs, and I learned them. And 3 days later, we went over to where their studio was, and we made it halfway through the first song, and Kurt Vanderhoof just takes his guitar off and walks out of the studio, and I was like, "Shit, I guess that didn't go so well." And so him and Kirk Arrington walk outside and talk, and they come back in and they're like, "Well, the gig's yours if you want it." I was like, "Fuck, off a half a song? You don't even want to hear the other 2 songs?" And they're like, "Nope, you got the groove, you got the feel, you got the look. If you want the job, it's yours." And so I was in, and Ronnie and I joined basically the same time, and then we brought in Jay Reynolds on guitar, and about 2 weeks later we started recording the first album that I was on, Way to the World. And man, we went out and Jesus, we toured and toured and toured. Like 7 months out of the year, we'd be out touring, and we did that for like the first 3 albums that we did that I did with them. It was a lot of touring. But anyway, that's basically how I got into the band.
Damn. So you went from, you know, doing the regular gig thing into a full-fledged, hey, this is a metal band, we're going on tour, you know, and then many years later.
Yeah, like, yeah. And the country band that I was in was a really cool kind of thing, and I was the it was a two-singer thing, and I was one of the two singers, and we were doing some cool stuff. We were playing like some fairs and stuff like that, and it had the potential, and it was promising that it might go somewhere and do something. And then I got the call, do you want to be in Metal Church? And I'm like, well, fuck, Metal Church is already doing exactly what I'm trying to do here. So it's like, do I walk through door number one that's a for sure deal? I'm going to go do the things that I've always wanted to do, or am I going to stick with my country band here and try to make it happen? There's no guarantees. And so, obviously I chose the Metal Church route, and it's been almost 20 years now. So,
Damn. And that's cool to hear that, like, you're hanging out with the country band and you get the phone call, from Metal Church, like, hey, you want the job? I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
the other guys in my country band didn't think it was as cool as I did.
Well, I can kind of understand, but
they were cool. They were like, dude, you're a moron if you don't take the gut. If you pass up on this, you're an idiot. That's basically what they all told me.
Definitely a life changer, and that's cool. I like to hear stories like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you still play any country at all?
Oh, I don't really play any. The closest I get to country is I've got another gig that I do. It's called The King Alive in '85, and it's a show that's geared towards like casinos and cruise ships and things like that. But it's the Elvis show that never was, because he died in '77. Nice. And it's what would his show been like in 1985? So, believe it or not, I can sing pretty good Elvis, and so you see me in a big old the actual Elvis outfits and everything, and we do a bunch of like '80s stuff, like what do we do? White Snake and Toto and 38 Special, we do a bunch of '80s rock stuff, and we just like tune it down a little bit so that I can sing it Elvis style, and it's the Elvis show that never was.
That's kick ass, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. We got some gigs actually coming up here. We're doing Spokane, so we're kicking off a little run here. So my show, The King Alive in '85, and Sin Circus, which is my son's band, we flip-flop nights. So like on a Friday night, August 6th, I play Spokane, and then Saturday night they play the Snake River Rock Festival, and then we head to Sturgis, and Alive '85 plays like the Monday and the Wednesday in Sturgis, and Sin Circus plays Thursday and Friday. And then we head straight back and we do Spokane again, and then we're back home for a little bit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Already, I like that. And it's a cool thing. Ever since the COVID thing, I'm overly joyed to see all these bands and musicians getting back out on the road and doing the thing. Because I know it crippled the music industry.
Absolutely.
It crippled the venues, it crippled the bands, anybody in the music industry. It just crippled them, and that's why we do what we do right now.
Well, you know what, Eric? My opinion is we've been on lockdown the whole world for like a year and a half, roughly. So it did cripple, like you said, the music industry. But you know what? It made the fans to be more anxious to get out there,
Yes.
Because any concert, what you see in USA at least, that is wide open nowadays, even some places in Europe, they fucking packed, they selling out, because people are. Yeah,
Yep.
Exactly. People want to get out, So let's say Steve Unger, let's say hypothetically, if you would be bringing 5,000 people to concert, nowadays you can probably bring 15,000 people or 50,000 people as a headliner, because they are so desperate to get out there and just see something, because year and a half, it's a long fucking time.
It is.
So,
it is.
And
there's almost another generation of people that have come up that, they're just now turning, 13, 14, 15 years old, and they're like just getting into concerts, and they've, just, can you imagine if you were 15 and there was no concerts? You'd be like, what the fuck? And then, now you can go do it. You got to go make up for lost time, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I was 15, communism fell down in Eastern Europe, in former Czechoslovakia. And you know what? We had a concert rock or heavy metal bands twice a year. And you know what? We would be just so anxious to see them because there was nothing else. you know. So it's pretty much the same, you know. I'm rewinding the tape, you know, when I was growing up as a kid, you know, playing in band, first band when I was 12 years old or so. But you know, going to concerts to big bands, you know, that I couldn't see them on daily basis. Nowadays, you know, there is a concert in LA or New York, wherever you live, you know, so you can go to any kind of concert before COVID-19 or after COVID-19. Okay, but I totally relate to that. You know, you are so like eager to get out and just like just have fun, have a good time.
I just hope that it holds on for a while. I mean, I think that people, you know, myself included, kind of took live music and just entertainment across the board. I mean, whether it's music or whether it's comedy or, I mean, anything that's live. And I think a lot of people started taking it for granted, man, because it's just like, you know, you can, yeah, if I don't make it out this weekend, I'll go out next weekend. Yeah, they'll be playing somewhere then. And, you know, all of a sudden next weekend came and the world was shut down for a year and a half. So people kind of opened their eyes, I think, and they, you know, I'm just hoping. Whoa! I'm getting the big old waves coming over out there.
Oh, we thought you were dancing.
Yeah, no. Now like a ferry boat wave or something just came crashing by. Anyway, I just hope that you know, people don't forget how easily something that they love to be taken away, and you know, hopefully they don't go back into the routine of taking it for granted. I mean, I know myself, being in a band, I've been in a band my entire life, and you know, I always look forward to going out on tours, and you know, I mean, I'm like, you're gonna go out, you're gonna have some fun, you're gonna go see the world, you're gonna meet a bunch of friends, and you know, you're gonna meet new people, you're gonna see other parts of the world, and then you know, sometimes, you know, like when you get out on tour, you're about, you know, 3 weeks into a run, and you're like, God damn, I'm beat up, I want to go back home for a while, and you know, it's really tough to balance the things both directions, you know, between a home life and a touring life. But I don't think that I'll ever take, you know, being out on tour for granted ever again. And I just hope that the fans kind of feel the same way about going and seeing, you know, bands, whatever the hell they are, you know, whatever band it might be.
Exactly, you just spelled it out. You know, I've been on tours my whole life and playing all over the places. And that's exactly the same thing. Sometimes you feel like, hey, you know what? I just want to get the fuck back home, at least for 1 week. You know, but you know, nowadays you feel like, hey, you know what? Like we had this lockdown for a year and a half, you know, and we couldn't even play local gigs, you know, and it's okay to play, you know, small gigs or bigger gigs or festivals, you know. And I believe that people will remember this, you know, especially fans, not only as musicians, professional musicians, but fans, you know, that, oh my God, like if this shit happens again, we are fucked. So we better get the fuck out there, and we better pay attention to whatever is my favorite band. Either it's a country or it's a rock or heavy metal or blues or whatever.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know, and I've been doing interviews. Actually, I've been real busy these last couple of weeks with a lot of bands, different musicians, and they're all, you know, going out on tour now, you know, big shows, like 45-day tours, a couple of month tours. And the odd thing is, they're so excited. I mean, I don't want to say odd, but the great thing, I guess you could say, is they're so excited about it. I mean, like the band I interviewed last night, they're doing 2 tours at the same time. You know, they're touring with 2 headlining bands, you know, like, and they made it work with their scheduling and stuff, and they're on the road for like 4.5 months or some crazy shit like that. But they're so stoked about it, you know. They're like, we can breathe now. The gates are open. We're running with this shit. And there are a lot of bands out there doing that, and that's great. It really is.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all gotta make money somehow, right? It's like we ain't made money for a year and a half, so we gotta go out and make some now and have some fun and enjoy ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did an interview with Elias from Nonpoint last year, and he said 80% of his income was from touring. You know, so when he said that, to me that was deep. Like, man, fuck. How would you guys feel? Yeah, I could not imagine losing 80% of my paycheck. I couldn't.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and then merch also when you're touring.
Well, that's all part of it. You're selling merch. You're selling merch when you're on tour. You know, that's where you're making your money, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
merch. T-shirts, CDs, whatever.
All
Yep.
right, I'm getting slammed in the comments here. We get the viewers. We got a lot of folks out in Indiana tuning in. And and I love doing this Twitch thing and getting the fans involved because they come up with some questions and stuff. But this group of people out there in Indiana have one particular question all the time, every time I interview a band. Are you single?
Am I single?
Yeah.
Uh, uh, no,
Uh-oh.
I'm not single.
There you go,
Plug your ears,
Sherry.
baby. Plug your ears, baby. Yeah.
Oh shit! And, and speaking of that subject, now, like you were saying, being in this band for this long, and then touring, how does this affect, the relationships, the family life?
That's a good one.
Well, I think it's good for a while. She's happy to get rid of me. You know,
This is the best of life. I tell you that right there. It makes
like
a long relationship.
I get off a tour in about she's happy for about 2 weeks, and she's like, Jesus Christ, did you get the fuck out of here and go play again or something? God, you're killing me.
That was a good question because you know what? Like a week ago, I was asking mother of my sons. I have twins, two boys that everybody knows, and they 9.5 years old. And I made a anonymous voting. I said like, should I go on tour toward the end of this year or should I stay home? And I put like 3 tickets. One son, second son, and then mother of my sons. And I said like anonymously vote. Just say yes, go, or no, don't go. So, and I came up with 2 no's and 1 yes. And
Yeah.
and guess who said no?
The kid said no, and
Yeah,
the,
kids
and
said
the wife
no
said,
because
get the hell out of
they
here.
want daddy. They want daddy in
Yeah.
recording studio and back home.
Right?
And the mother of my sons, she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I asked that question
Really?
because I was married for 23 years, and then I got into a band and we toured for 3 years, and I am now divorced. So
Yeah.
I
it
just,
happens.
I asked that because I always look at it, a big, big part of music and being a musician is support all around, from your family, your loved ones, to me, that's one of the most important things. Actually, in the band, if you got the support and the family life's good, you're all right. But then, you run into my situation and you got to debate. Well, do I want to stay married or do I want to live my dream that I've been working at for 30 years? And well, here I am.
Well, if you picked the right one, she probably would have wanted you to go live your dream,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of us get lucky, some of us don't. Yeah.
Now,
And that's what.
you were talking about, releasing this album here from the vault.
Yep.
And there's no tour set up or anything like that for that. But, I mean, is there any dates at all, like anything at all that you guys are, going to be playing just for like, I don't want to say shit and giggles, but, nothing?
We have some offers on the table. I just don't know if we're going to be doing anything until next year. There's nothing's been solidified, and from the sounds of things, probably nothing until next year.
So 2022, we could be looking forward to some possibilities for Metal Church hitting the road and hitting our neck of the woods. That's awesome. I'm stoked.
Let's hope so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
I want to get back in there.
Now you talk about the Elvis thing, dude. You've really got my curiosity up. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to get some dates on those shows because I might do what I can to come out and check one out because I can't see it. I just can't see it. So I got to see it to believe it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, well, get out. I mean, where are you based out of?
I'm in Illinois, but I have no fear in traveling.
Well, I know that a friend of ours from I don't know if you know Lloyd from Dark Star Records. He's been trying to bring us out to do I forget what the venue's called, but he wants to get us. What's the big radio station out there in Chicago that they actually have
Q-Rock
bands
at
on?
the Top Fuel Saloon. Me and Chris know Freak really well. We'll make that
Yeah,
happen.
That's my brother. It's my Uncle Freak.
Yeah.
yeah.
If
So we may end up in Chicago one day, hopefully sooner than later. And I mean, the closest we're going to get to that is, I mean, anytime soon is Sturgis, South Dakota. That's in, August. What the hell is it? August 9th and 11th?
right. Now,
Yeah.
during Sturgis, where are you guys going to be playing at?
We're playing Glencoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
It's,
are you guys regulars at Sturgis doing it, or?
Well, this will be the second year that I've done it with the Elvis show. This will be the 4th year that Sin Circus plays it. And this will probably be the 10th year that I've been there. You know, I've gone several times just, riding the bike out there and, spending 2 weeks riding around in the Black Hills and, enjoying Sturgis and the ride to and from.
Yeah. Now, the Top Fuel thing, honestly, like, you let your manager know, or whoever's doing that booking, that you've got some inside people that know the owner of that venue really
Yeah.
well. So we can make that happen.
All right. Well, we'd absolutely love to come down there and play.
Hell yeah. There you go, Chris. We got to hit up Uncle Freak tomorrow. We got to start blowing his shit up.
Yeah, there you go, man. When we get done here, I can forward Troy the promo for the show, and you can kind of get an idea what it is.
Oh,
You can
hell
see
yeah.
it for himself. Yeah.
You betcha. I'll do that.
Well, I'm trying to Google search here the Elvis show that never happened.
It's a Live 85. Just if you Google search a Live 85 promo video, and you'll find it.
Hell yeah.
Alive 85.
See, now
Alive
the cool thing about Freak, though, honestly, is that if me or Chris hit Freak up and we're like, hey, dude, Steve Unger, as soon as we say that name, he's going to know who you are and where you're from and what you do. I guarantee it. And we're like,
Right.
hey, man, he's got this little side project that, dude, he would be extremely fascinated with it, and he would be hitting you guys up next. Like,
Oh,
I
well,
guarantee
oh
it.
shit.
Hold on, time out.
I love it. The fans are already starting to say you got research to do. I don't. Chris does. It's on Chris tonight. He's already Googling everything.
Yeah. Probably watching it right now. He's like, what the
That work
fuck?
is awesome. I don't
Yeah.
do homework. People doing homework? Great.
Now, I got to ask you this, though, Steve. Being with Metal Church and stuff like that, this is one of the questions I ask all the musicians and all the bands. What is and I know the significant other is on the boat with you. I mean, so, what is the craziest thing you have ever dealt with on tour that made you just go, did that really just fucking happen?
Oh man. But like adventures that happen on tour, you mean?
Yes.
Oh shit. Let's see here. There was probably the time I brought a boat of weed out of Amsterdam when we got stopped at the border in Germany. That wasn't good.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. We got out of that one, but probably at the time we left Amsterdam, and so this was kind of a long story, but it's a crazy one. We got to Amsterdam and we were playing a place called I think it was called the Melkweg or something like that. This little dome type building. Anyway, the tour bus dropped us off there, and we did the show. And at the end of the show, the promoter said, "Hey, a buddy of mine owns a club a couple doors down, and drinks, dinner, anything you guys want, it's all on him. He just wants you to come down and make an appearance." And so we were like, okay. So a couple of us did.